Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Nations Cup. My name is Bahamut, joined by Khaldor, and because of your generosity voting on Twitter, we are matching heads and shirts.
Thank you very much for that.
I tried to get him to
Great
grow his
idea.
beard out in a day, but he just kept pushing. It didn't work out too well. You got some stubble.
You could have shaved yours.
Why would I do that?
Bald Brothers United? I mean, I have the shirt,
you know what?
shave
You
the
make a
beard.
good point. You make a good point.
I should have actually thought about that earlier. We would force you. Like, that would have been a good trade. That would have been my one chance to get out of this one. So, like, yeah, I wear the shirt if you shave the beard. That would have been
an easy out for you, absolutely.
Exactly. So, yeah, but it didn't happen. So, a little bit of a different vibe now for the next series. Germany versus Korea.
It's going to be a good one.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We already saw Germany earlier today, and they were, I think the word is just dominant. And scary.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, it's also, again, with Korea now playing instead of China, a pretty interesting situation here. So as most of you probably know, China was the team that was able to win the Asian qualifier and then got their ticket. But there were problems getting the players over here and getting all the data and everything. And eventually, at some point, ran out of time and China lost the spot to Korea. And the Koreans, Hyde in particular, just absolutely a veteran and experience, came in within 1 hour. He had all the data for the players and we could book all the flights, could them get here right away. So ever since then, we have now Korea filling that spot. And it's going to be interesting. I mean, they were the powerhouse back in the HGC days. Yeah. Since then, the scene in Korea struggled a little bit, but we'll find out what they can do now.
It's just, I don't know, I'm really excited to see how it's all evolved for them, what kind of practice they've put in, what is going to be happening from Germany as well, what will they adjust from that first best of 5 of the day. I did hear from production that we have an updated bracket. Should we take a look at that for the audience?
Definitely. So, a bit of an outlook also on what we have left for the day. So first of all, we kicked things off with Germany against Poland, which qualified the German team for the series that you are about to see. France versus Sweden, awesome games.
Yes.
And you casted them, they were great. And they have to play against the USA later on today. Also going to be another highlight here.
Boy, howdy, that's going to be a good one. But getting into South Korea versus Germany, that's going to be still fun. Because as I said, Germany has the fastest map so far in Nations Cup with 9 minutes and 46 seconds. But Khaldor, do we see some more games later on today in that bottom bracket?
We are definitely going to take a look at the losers bracket as well. And yeah, I'm actually pretty excited to now especially see what South Korea is doing, because it kind of feels a little bit weird, but I would say at this point, Germany is the favorite heading into this.
Yes.
And seeing South Korea then drop down into the lower bracket would be a little bit wild. But on the other hand, for them, it's always a little bit tricky to really just properly train. They still show their aggressive style, but just the coordination and the way that the fights are, the communication works and the fights are coordinated seems to be just a little bit better for teams like Germany or Sweden, as we just saw in the last series.
Oh, absolutely. The communication. I mean, map number 4 was Sweden versus France. You could really see that they were firing on all cylinders. They understood where they needed to be, and Lauber was just setting up plays for the team left and right with ice walls or the Blizzard. I'm blanking on the names of May's talents because I never get to cast her that much. But before we start talking about where we're going to in this best of 5 between South Korea and Germany, Khaldor, people are really loving this event. You and I were talking before this match started, how many people are actually in the arena that they had to pull in chairs to make more seating for all the people here. So
yeah, so we kind of made it. Honestly, we should have gotten tickets for the event, just at 50 cents or something, so we had an idea how many people were coming.
Sure.
I expected, if so, a third to show up on day number 1, so I was absolutely blown away, and I love it. We had a full house pretty much with the start of the first game, and had to get more chairs in, push some of the TVs back that we had set up in front of the stage to create a little bit more room, and the room is still packed. Everybody is cheering, clapping, enjoying the show, and it's been a total blast. So very overwhelming and very, very happy. And yeah, thanks to everybody that's in the audience right now for coming. It means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you for everyone supporting. And if you want to support events like this in the future, there's got to be a way to have more of these events. There's got to be a way to support this event as well, Khaldor. How do we do this?
That sounds like a layup. So, yeah, we have obviously still the crowdfunding going on. So, as you see, we have multiple heroes that are pre-banned for the entire event. And there are still a couple of incentives on the crowdfunding to increase that number even further for Sunday, and potentially even on Sunday for the grand final itself. So, if you've been enjoying the show with multiple heroes being banned out, with the draft getting a bit crazier and wilder the longer it progresses, or you just want to support more events like this in the future, you can do that. If you're watching this on Twitch right now, just use !bans. Not only does it show you which heroes are currently unavailable for the entire playoffs, but also gives you a link directly to the crowdfunding. And again, we're obviously trying to do more events like this if we can. But offline events, a bit pricey.
It cost a dime or two.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's why we needed 50-cent tickets. It would have been
would have solved everything.
Easily.
Kevin is going to be very happy. No, but yeah, players obviously they got the entire trip paid and also the hotels. So yeah, that's a fair chunk.
We can talk more about the draft style for Nations Cup as well, because it's very unique. It's your kind of your creation, the Meta Madness draft style. So we can get into that a little bit. But we're going to be getting ready for Cursed Hollow map number 1. How do you feel about that as a starter? It's a huge macro map.
Very happy. I love Cursed Hollow.
You and Tim.
Yes, back in the days when you had just, I think it was like 1 or 2 maps when they released the first version of the alpha.
That's true.
Pretty much everybody, you had to, because there weren't enough maps in the pool, each team could pick a map again that was already played. So most best of 3 series just had Cursed Hollow, and then Cursed Hollow. And even despite that, I still like the map. You have so many different options. You can let a couple of tributes go. You can wait for level 10 to really take those fights. You have 2 bosses up on the map as well. So I really enjoy it. You can fight. You can play macros you already talked about.
Oh, yeah.
And for me personally, this is like one of the best and most fun maps in the game. I know most people Towers of Doom is like their favorite.
No, yeah.
Cursed Hollow has a special place.
I'll say this: Towers of Doom is the best DLC map. Cursed Hollow is the best OG map, because when you start playing Heroes of Storm, you play, I think it's like 10 maps of Cursed Hollow before they start letting you actually into other maps of the game. So it is still like that tried and true map that Heroes of Storm teaches you through. So exciting to be kicking things off onto that map. We're waiting for a couple more players for our lobby, but until then, Khaldor, it's been exciting so far today. We've had some great matches, and I want to get your thoughts on, as we're getting into this, we've already seen Germany. What do you think about Korea? Did you happen to see any scrims from them? Did you peek at them yesterday? Because there was a bunch of scrims happening. We all kind of got to lurk a little bit.
I was trying to catch a few scrims, but I got to admit that most of the time I was just running around and trying to set everything up with production, communicate with everyone to get the show on the road. Talked to a couple of teams and players, though.
Okay.
And generally the feedback seems to be that Korea is just not as clean as they were before, which you can't really fault them for because, again, they don't have a lot of competition currently over on the Korean server. But at the same time, they still have maintained that aggression that they usually bring in tournaments, where they are looking for kills, they're looking for fights. They just don't play them quite as clean anymore. So if you play well around it and they are not able to kill someone right away, you can usually punish them for that. So I think that's what we can expect from them. Same playstyle, and then just try to brawl it out here. And honestly, very eager to see that, especially against the German team. You talked about it a bit earlier. They themselves were pretty aggressive in their fighting against Poland.
Oh my God, it was seemingly shutdown after shutdown in so many of these engagements. Like Poland they had a shining beacon with Cho'Gall, and then it was just the light was snuffed out, and that was that. But unfortunately, we do have to go back to a break because I just heard that we have to swap out a PC.
Probably Masquerade's PC.
Oh,
probably dropped the bathrobe or something.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. The bathrobe, the little tie got into the fan, and it completely blew up the PC. So we're gonna have to go. Go ahead.
Actually, we still have a minute. For you, it's the first time an offline event here in Berlin. First time, or how long have you been here?
How long have I been in Berlin for this event?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I just want to make sure I heard you right. I've been in here. I landed Wednesday afternoon, so I've had some chance to see some amazing architecture. It's what I went to school for originally. So there's some beautiful architecture. This city is absolutely stunning. But also there's a zoo, so I got to spend like half a day at the zoo. I went to the aquarium. All right, if you're in Berlin, if you're visiting Berlin, go to the zoo. It's like €27, 7 extra for the aquarium, but it's worth that €27. It's a blast, and it's a good time to walk around.
It's so funny to me because I've been living in Valencia now for up to 4 years, and Valencia has apparently the best or most famous aquarium in Europe, at least.
Really?
There's apparently one in the States that is bigger, but
yeah, I think it's in California. It's like the Shed Aquarium, I think it is.
Not quite sure, but yeah. So, and over in Valencia, I still haven't been there. And then you just over to Berlin for a second, and all of a sudden you're already going through all the spots. So yeah, actually Tim is coming with me to Spain for a couple of days, and then we're gonna check it out together. So finally have an opportunity to go there myself.
Gotta go to the aquarium. It was so funny because my parents, they escaped communism. They came through Berlin and everything during their escape. And they were saying, like, 31 years ago, we were looking at the city through a completely different lens. And it's so crazy to see how everything's changed. And they were recommending, like, oh, you got to go here, you got to go there. And I was on Google Maps while we were video chatting one day, and I was like, oh, there's a zoo! So that was immediately the first thing. I was just like, Mom and Dad, that's exactly what I'm doing with my first day. But after the event, there's a bunch of players that I was talking with a bunch of NA players, and they're still going to be in town on Monday after the event. So I'm rallying people to go to the Berlin Wall and go do some history over there.
Didn't you guys go for sightseeing on?
Yeah, we went to Museum Island, but there's still more to there's still more to see for sure.
Yeah, I just saw that. I mean, honestly, this is one of the things that I love, that we were able to get people in so early.
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, once the game is ready, we obviously immediately jump in.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
we have a bit of
instead of
downtime
a pause,
here.
we're doing this.
Yeah. I really like that a lot of the players were here so early, and then said, like, hey, let's just do something in the city. I think Lauber and his boys went partying on Thursday. They said, like, okay, we have like one night, that's fine, and then we're going to get ready for on Friday, get our scrims in, and then get ready for Saturday. But the cool thing here is that it's just everybody has a little bit of free time that they can spend together. Everybody is at the same hotel right now, so you just have teams hang out with each other all the time. It's just awesome to see that. We had Dartmoor in the interview just a bit earlier. Some of the other HGC players from back in the day are here. Even players that didn't qualify for the event made it to the venue.
That's
and it's
awesome.
just awesome to have everybody hang out. And there's a lot of players here that have never been at an offline event and have never even met any of the other guys here. So it's just awesome to see this all come together now.
Well, I have to say, big shout out to you and Kevin for
Kevin's the man there.
Big shout out to Kevin. Thank you, seriously. Like, putting all of this together, getting us all here, thank you so very much. But it is that's the other thing too. Miami is great and everything because NA it's easy for us, but Europe is so much easier connected wise because I talked to so many people, they're like, oh yeah, like simply DK. He was just like, yeah, I hopped on a train 5 hours, whatever, I'm here. But in the United States, you can't do that. You don't hop on a train in 5 hours, you're anywhere.
I mean, for me, it's pretty much the same thing. From Spain, I have like a 2-hour flight to Frankfurt and another hour flight to Berlin if I take a stopover and visit some family. So there's nothing. And then if you're in the States, if you're up on
24 hours.
Exactly.
11 hours from Portland to Frankfurt, and that was still more flights in between all that, so...
Yeah, so it's just a little bit easier to get people together. But that also made it so hard to really judge how many people are going to be here. So we have to figure at some point out how we get more people in the venue here. Thankfully, like all in the experience here, there's like screens that show the game.
True.
So I saw there's like a massive TV wall in one corner where they have beanie bags in front of it too,
Oh,
which is not
nice.
really the arena. But people have been hanging out there as well, watching the games too. It's a little bit more quiet, but I saw it and was like, that's not too bad either. I might join them later. So it's pretty awesome. The entire venue just has screens everywhere, and all of them show heroes right now.
Oh man, like the venue actually, Trick was saying this earlier, and I said it last night as well. If I had a venue or an esport arena center like this when I was a kid, I would be literally going there after school every day. I would spend every dime that I could find underneath the couch to play whatever games were available. I mean, when I was a kid, it was probably like Super NES, Donkey Kong Country and stuff, but that would have been so worth it. But if you're in Berlin, if you want to travel out here, we have another day of casting tomorrow. So if you want to make the travel, come on out, come join us. There's no cost, there's no entry fee. Come out, have a good time, come say hello. But Khaldor, we're into it. Let's jump into map 1, Curse Hollow.
We got a game. South Korea, everybody, against Germany. So this is going to be good. Obviously, again, our 6 pre-banned heroes here. We're on map number 1. And this is the first time that the Koreans play today, and I can't wait. I want to see what Germany has up their sleeves. Cursed Hollow, obviously, another map where we could see Hazops on the Vikings. We could see Abathur here. We're talking a bit of these macro heroes that the team played so much. And South Korea is having none of it right from the beginning.
Can't blame them.
No, I don't blame them either.
No.
But this is one of the interesting things that we had in the days of HGC already. Everybody was scared of Hazu's Vikings, and then oftentimes you would go to an offline event and teams would ban Vikings against them. And then they said later, like, well, we didn't even plan on picking them. So it was always a ban that the opponent had to spend because they just didn't want to deal with it. And this is a perfect example.
I have a friend who plays an NGS, and it's quite literally, he gets the Stark ban. It's Samuro. He'll literally just be like, oh, I don't even want to play Samuro, but anyway, I get the free ban. And actually, I was going to start bringing up Abathur as well, but Korea's like, no, you guys don't get to have any fun picks map 1.
Both of the heroes that I thought we would see for the Germans are already out. So, yeah, I thought that it was the Germans that don't like fun, but apparently Korea is not far behind. It's like... That's kind of mean.
Yeah, I do have a feeling that this map one's going to be... I don't think we're going to see anything crazy at the time. I mean, Medivh's out of there, but I would like to see... We talked... Trick and I were talking about it earlier. Kidnap compositions are very fun on this map with Stitches,
Yeah.
so I would really like to see a Stitches somewhere. He hasn't gotten play yet in the tournament, but that could be something in the sights for today.
Oh, absolutely. I would also not be shocked to see Germany on one of the maps that they are playing to bust out Sergeant Hammer and really just try and go for a siege composition. They have 3 players technically that have played a lot of Sergeant Hammer. Nick changed the complete build for like a while, and now we have 2 different approaches to it, where you can go in, especially on level 4 for a bit of a different option. And it can be very scary, especially with a team that has some overlap in the hero pool. You have a lot of flexibility when you draft the hero early, that you can pass it on to someone else just to get more drafts in, or more draft flexibility into your own composition. And Sylvanas Diablo are already starting us off with 2 heroes we've seen from the German team against Poland earlier, and it was scary.
It's good aggression, and Germany did show those teeth earlier on. And speaking of teeth, Greymane would be something great with this. Li Ming would be great for poke as well for Germany. But of course, Korea's going to get 2 more picks before we get into our next ban phase. What are they going to lean into with Dahaka? Maybe they go double global early on and grab the Falstad?
Yeah, the birdie is still up. There's your Greymane, by the way. Yeah. And Lucio for added speed. So I like that already. You have the mobility, you see Greymane. And this is already catering to what we talked about earlier, that they still like this aggression. With that mobility, they definitely have that. They can speed you in with Lucio. The Haka can jump in from the offlane, and they can look for that fight and try to connect that tongue. So I'm already liking what I'm seeing here. This looks like we're going to have a very, very fun first map.
And a Garrosh, of course, banned away, as that's considered a counter to Diablo. He shadow charges in, gets thrown away, Greymane razor swipes, Dahaka drags, and that is all Diablo's health. But of course, Khaldor, we can talk about bans and everything. What are you thinking about Germany's future picks in this Curse Hollow map?
I'm actually a little bit on the fence on what they're going to do here, because on the one hand, they could opt in. First of all, there's a Sergeant Hammer ban, so
that's good.
Korea definitely has done their homework. Vikings out, Avatar out. That leaves Germany, though, with a lot of picks that you normally want to deny to someone like Ultralisk. So we saw Tracer for Dino earlier. Ultralisk loves to play his Maiev, he loves to play his Kerrigan. And these are traditionally the bans that other teams would ban against them. But it seems like the Koreans just said, okay, we are happy to deal with that. We just don't want to deal with these big macro picks that we oftentimes see from them. Karazim, Leoric, so that still leaves Ultralisk as an additional damage dealer up, with Dino obviously already on Sylvanas. And they could now react to whatever South Korea does and really just give him the option to be aggressive with the Maiev, set kills up for them, or go for at some point in the series for the Kerrigan pick, especially if the Koreans continue with that ban pattern.
I'm staring at the Korea draft and I'm wondering, it's not the best tank, but do you consider maybe an ETC?
I'm just distracted because I see the preview screen and I see this, and I'm just like, this is so wrong.
It's not wrong. It's fun.
We don't like that in Germany.
Oh, well, maybe we should do the next tournament on like the West Coast USA. We've done
like
East
fun?
Coast.
Okay.
We do like fun.
You have a shorter trip then, huh?
Yeah, that's what.
I mean, we could also go to like some exotic countries outside of Europe, maybe the UK, for example. That will
very exciting.
Hi, Rob, how you doing?
We'll all meet in the middle on Greenland. That'll be perfect.
There's your birdie, and there's my Maiev. So, Maiev has already been a little bit called for Ultralisk. At the same time, we get that double global that you've been talking about. And interestingly enough, we have Mei very early in the draft. Laub already showed it earlier. We've seen it from KCB also in qualifiers, but yeah, pretty good to see that here too.
The Gust is going to be a great way to control boss as well. Since it's a double boss map, we could see some Falstad fly behind the tree line, get that angled Gust, and then barrel roll over, steal the camp sort of deal. There's a lot of really good pressure that I feel Korea can apply to the side of Germany, but as we've been talking about, Germany looks so good earlier, and it's going to be on Korea to really showcase that they can stop the powerhouse that is Germany in the Nations Cup here.
Yeah, it should be a pretty wild one. Korea obviously always having a special place in everybody's heart, and the mechanics are usually totally on point.
Oh, mine for sure. I was a big Korea fanboy back in HCC.
Yeah, who wasn't? I mean, Rich when he started to bring his Illidan back, and all the picks that they played through. Then the Sergeant Hammer picks, I think it was back then on Volskaya. It was just crazy. So, good times for sure. And it's nice to see some of them here again. But then again, Germany, they of course want to win this series. They want to advance in the winner bracket. And we're jumping into Cursed Hollow to find out if they can at least put a first point onto the board here. as we have map number 1 coming up. Cursed Hollow with Korea against Germany.
On the left-hand side, we're going to be seeing the members of Korea. We've got Lockdown on the Falstad, Hyde playing the Lucio, Crow to play the Grain Main, KCB on the Mei, and Chris on the Dahaka.
And over to the right side of the map is the Germans with Dino playing Sylvanas again as he did versus Poland. We got Death Knight on Karazim and Nick on Diablo looking for these bully moves and for the stuns into the walls. Hazorps with Leoric can provide some of those walls, and Ultralis gets to play his Maiev in game number 1, since the Koreans had a very different approach to the bans than most European teams have when they play against the team in red.
Dahaka's so uncertain. Should I Hearth? No, I shouldn't Hearth. I've got full HP and just continually doing that in front just to have a little bit of fun in front of Germany. But we are getting into a small scuffle in the bottom lane. Hazuov's being chased down by Hyde and Lockdown, but he will not fall.
Well, top lane already. We have Maiev just sitting there. Ultralis is looking for an opportunity to maybe get the first tether through. Just a little bit of poke. Nothing too crazy happening early on here. And for me, what is going to stand out is definitely how much the Korean team is going to use the mobility that they have. Run a double. Ooh, they are not using enough on Grey Main. That's the first blood right there. Germany coming in swinging. But yeah, I was just about to say, I want them to coordinate through the double global and Lucio to really create these opportunities where they have a numbers advantage and can net themselves a kill. But instead of that happening, it's the German team that just ganks up on Greyman and takes him down.
I'm loving what Hazuobs is doing here, threatening or just stepping in the lane, Wraith walking out, and just getting away, and of course always spraying as well. You gotta represent.
Rule number 1: spray game has to be on point.
It is, and of course you gotta have your favorite spray on every single hero. But Crow Hyde will grab themselves a camp for the mid lane. Germany has already done so, and will continue to pressure that up with Maiev. Karazim sitting in the bush.
Yeah, camp in the middle, of course, creating an opportunity for them now to push with Sylvanas and allow her to get a bit stronger here as well. Immediately, Mei coming in, no problem for Dino, he's fine, but Ultralisk might be a bit in trouble, gets the tether out, and they're trying to get him into a good spot here. Crow low again, Falstad coming in, that's exactly what we wanted to see from South Korea, and there it is, the kill on Maiev as Ultralisk dies.
Hyde getting a little bit low, Crow diving back in. Greyman looking for some pressure, and Dino on the run. Lockdown might have them locked down. Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to make the joke, all right? And
I'm usually the one with the bad puns here, so you could have saved face, but I'm glad that you take one for the team.
Of course.
Death Knight gets out, so they get the 1 kill. Sylvanas is gone. That's 2 kills for Korea. Most of these fights, no real tanks just yet. Leo was sitting at the side lane, looking pretty. We had Dibbles up at the top. So in the early game, bit of a leading experience for Korea, so a good start for them. And setting themselves up for the first tribute, an early level 7 would of course help them a lot here.
I do want to point out we got Paralyzing Rage. Leoric will be able to have a 60% slow now, which is a little bit more chase potential. Dino able to burst people down, and Death Knight able to chase in as well. Just a little note for all of you. Also, Soul to Flame for Diablo, able to pick up more souls with that Fire Stomp already at 45 is our first objective. North side of the map, 7 talent here, half a level away.
I like the Siege Giants at the bot lane, just on the opposite side of the tribute. Usually gives you a lot of value, but given the fact that the blue team is running 2 globals, it shouldn't give Germany too big of an edge. Dahaka should be able to defend this and then just tunnel in whenever he's needed. But Death Knight is interrupted on the last moment here. I was just about to say that the Koreans might have misjudged the timing there, but no, good job by them.
Good poke so far. Speaking of poke, Falstad did actually go into the auto attack build, so he's not building up that hammering, but he did get Secret Weapon at level 7, amplifying that damage, auto attack damage, while the hammering is out in flight. Death Knight wants to poke at KCB a little bit. Maybe Nick has an angle on the Diablo? Nope.
Yeah, I was looking for an angle here with Diablo, but now the channel is happening, and I don't think the interrupt is going to be there in time. Dahaka comes in, but he's too late. They are looking for a kill at least. Let's see if they can get that. The drag is there. Diablo gets caught, and they're slowing him down completely. Mei with very nice isolation. Death Knight moving in, trying to help him out, but trying to get at least a counter kill, because now Karazim is in trouble too.
Lockdown still chasing in low. I don't see any sort of counter pressure from Germany. The pressure continues from South Korea. They find the double kill, 4-1, and Korea pushes through top lane, taking down the front wall.
Seems like the Koreans have been sandbagging their scrims a little bit.
Maybe.
Yeah, looking good there. So
yeah.
4 kills to 1. Very nice performance by them. Had to abandon, of course, the bot lane where Leo is getting some value right now. But we pretty much get what we expected after what the teams have talked about. The Koreans, they are aggressive. They're looking for kills. They have 2 globals. They have Lucio. That creates opportunities for them to move in. And in this case, they are pulling slowly ahead. Leo at the bot lane gave the Germans at least some additional experience and not falling too far behind here. But there's definitely already a bit of a trend. So unless Germany turns this around with level 10, they might be in for a rough ride on Cursed Hollow.
The gap is starting to form, favoring the South Korean members, and I'm just looking at the Falstad in bottom lane because Leorc is chilling in a bush. Maybe this is a bait. Can they get lockdown here? Good. A slow should come out. That's 60% with Paralyzing Rage.
And
good
goodbye.
stun from Nick, and good night, Falstad.
They want the birdie, they want the chicken, and there it is. I don't blame them. So, good job, and that is kill number 2, but level 10 will still be there, and that is a tribute, a freebie for the Koreans. So, 1 tribute on each side. Sylvanas up at the top, locked into that one-on-one battle with Dehaka. We got the ice wall, get go for the throat. Nothing too much out of the box here for the Korean team. But I really want to see what Germany is able to do once that they hit their own heroic abilities. I would love for them to be a bit more aggressive themselves, try to take the fight to the opponent. We got the cage again for Maiev, 7-sided strike is here too. And Diablo is the one that's a little bit of a question mark. And there it is, we get Apocalypse.
I was wondering if we get the Easy Bake Oven with the with the baker as well, the 7-sided strike, punch
The
in
air
the
fryer.
dough. The air fryer, that's a good one too. Bosses, I think, are traded here. Greymane starts working on the boss for bottom, as Germany will have their own boss for top. Traded on each of those. Dehaka is scouting out, but there's no way Dehaka steps in.
I mean, Diablo, Nick played already Apocalypse in the series against Poland, and he had some very, very nice combo that led usually to kills, or at least forced the opponent to heavily zone. And look at this, oh my god, Dehaka! They come in for a second attempt and they take him down. That means that there's nobody at the top lane to defend. Huge problem now for Korea, honestly. There's a Sylvanas push happening. The only thing they have against them is those siege giants, so that should net Germany a lot of structure damage.
Okay, so Korea's not even going to be trying to counter-pressure bottom lane. They're moving into mid, which is weird enough to me. Entomb from Leoric will catch most of the wave, and Crow. Greymane just razor swiping on top of Hazuabs. Go for the throat.
Yeah, gets the kill. Ultralisk also in a bit in trouble. They gotta be careful. Yeah, the Koreans are diving in. They're diving deep. Apocalypse is ready, but the Gust saving the day. Problem is that Karasim is still then gets the kill as he jumps on the bird. Falstad dead again. 6 kills to 4. But that's a pretty solid win for Germany here. They are still getting value at the top lane.
Yep.
Bottom 4, they might even be able to save it, but well, now the Greymane is moving in. It's highly unlikely. But either way, this is pretty good.
Another big slow from Hazuab's Death Knight with another 7-sided strike, but the high fives are available. Hyde and Crow get on out.
Yeah, so top side, the entire gate, or most of the gate, has now fallen. I mean, Korea did get quite a lot as well. The experience gap isn't really too big. They're still slightly ahead here, and they have the kill advantage too. They did damage in the middle. They still took down the fort at the bottom. Weren't able to push it towards the keep, so there's an opportunity for Germany after team fights now topside, where they could go for keep and maybe later on core. But I gotta say that Korea was willing to risk a lot here, and it semi-worked. They got Diablo, but then they lost Falstad, so interesting trades here. But the aggression that we expected is there.
Every heroic for South Korea is going to be up and available for this next objective phase in 10 seconds. But KCB is split from the team. That's going to be a beautiful Entomb 7-sided strike. Gus from Falstad is a little too late. And that is another kill to Germany just before a pivotal curse point. That's not what you want for South Korea.
Yeah, definitely not. So this is an opportunity to get the first curse, and they can't be stopped here. The Koreans are trying to get some value topside with Dehaka as he's going for the fort, and he is going to be able to take it out. But of course, the question is now, how much damage can Germany do with this push? They can control the lanes now. They don't have globals on the other hand, so this is really the advantage of the Korean team, that they can use those globals on the side lanes to minimize the damage. I like what Ultralisk is doing though at the bot lane. So Siege Giants are taking care of the fort.
Proxy
he
waves,
proxies the waves behind it, creating additional pressure. I like that a lot.
And a lot of free experience too. It's easy free experience, especially with Maiev being able to have those Fan and Knives. Curious why they left the catapult right there. Hazuab's being chased down. That's Hyde with a pushback. The push-off with those heavy casters. Oh, no. And that's a kill onto Hazuabs. But meanwhile, in mid lane, value being found. KCB taking a ton of damage, sharing the pain with Crow on that Greymane. But Crow so very low. Dino will be traded.
Yeah, Greymane is dead as well, so a lot of aggression all of a sudden, and Germany definitely diving deep here. They have taken the lead in experience and are a bit closer to level 16, but Ultralisk falls, and that changes things slightly. It forced the Koreans to focus on the mid lane on the other hand, so more damage has now been done down at the bottom of the map, and also a bit more even topside, where the keep is now down to about 60% of its HP.
Are we having a little bush party over here around the Siege Giant camp? No. It's just...
Well, they see Falstad.
Yeah, this is an attempt to gank Falstad in the top lane. Lockdown. Do they have a barrel roll? Okay, Gust and barrel roll out.
Yeah, Gust already used. I don't think they can catch him here. Nope, he flies out. So Lockdown is able to save himself, but he has to sacrifice the heroic cooldown for it.
60 seconds, not the worst in the world for a heroic. Do want to also mention the up the frequency for Lucio. Really, it's a great talent. Just you have to be able to min-max the wall riding to be getting a ton of value from that as well. So we'll see how that works out. Elongated tongue for the Dahaka, looking for extra range. But of course, resets for Diablo and shadow charges and stuff. This is going to be huge.
Yeah, and Korea is still ahead in experience and also in kills, but you can see that on the minimap. When it comes to structures, they're starting to, I don't want to say take a beating, but they're definitely slowly falling behind. There's still half a fort sitting in the mid lane for Germany, but it's more so opening up that keep topside and opening the wall at the bottom of the map for the Germans. That is really boding well for them. Dehaka, though, he's already pushing at the side, and this is really where Korea should also start to focus a little bit more on utilizing their globals on the side lanes, because now we're heading into the late game. Catapult pressure is going to be incredibly important. But here comes again the gank. Dehaka might have gone a little bit too deep. Seven-sided strike. Gust is out.
That is also a lot of essence pop by the Dahaka. Hazuabs is the one to fall. We have Greymane jumping in with a fantastic razor swipe and go for the throat. Greymane gets a kill, but Maev's fan and knives are resetting left and right. A Warden's Cage, a huge apocalypse as well. Dahaka, Greymane have gone down. Another dive onto KCB, and it's Germany who come out victorious, 2-3 in kills.
Ultralisk had enough of this shit. He goes in like, boys, let's go. I'm done with this. First, Dehaka falls, and he comes in with a big tether. Nick follows up with an apocalypse, and he just takes them down. So Ultralisk with the big boy plays right now. Nicely done. Trying to go for lockdown too. They can't stop the bird, but they have taken control of the map again. It's a really nice back and forth. I love that Korea just went in, got that kill, but then Germany responding in kind. And now, of course, there's a big opportunity to go for a double boss play or just even push with this one. There's no chance for South Korea to do anything about it, with Maiev still being on a 15-second death timer.
You're the shot caller for Germany. What do? Double boss or push?
I mean, play it safe and go double boss. I would
Okay.
love for them to push, don't get me wrong, as a
No,
cast.
I'm
there
yeah,
like, go
that's what I'm
core,
wondering.
boys, go core.
Yeah.
Anything that happens from that point onwards is only good for the audience.
Yeah.
Either you have them go and end the game, then it's going to be close, or they fail to do that, and then Korea comes back. But this would have been a problem.
Gust does not get the value Lockdown is looking for. Greymane jumps onto Hazuab's block totem, thrown down by Karazim, and I think that's the lull in the fight.
But you can already tell what the Koreans are doing here. They're worried about the double boss play, so they were hoping to catch somebody in the rotation, which they did, but they couldn't get the kill. Now they have to deal with the top lane, though, which also means they have to abandon the boss. So they're already having Lucio around just trying to scout this out, but he gets attacked. They're trying to buy themselves a little bit of time. But if Germany, they can't really do anything about it. That's the power of the globals now, of course.
Waiting to see if Falstad flies in, or if he's just going to stay and just soak out the top lane, as there's just wave after wave crashing up there. It's 1 out of 3 for both teams on curse points, so either side could give it away. Wailing Arrow Apocalypse will be utilized, and Dahaka is deleted.
Beautiful play. Beautiful play by Germany. Well coordinated. Top side has already fallen. Falstad can now fly in. That's exactly what he does. Comes in, gets immediately attacked here. Flies right in front of Azu. Mei is already down. That's a huge problem for the Korean team. It's a 3 versus 5 right now, and they are on the run, trying to go for counter kills, trying to get away here. Leo dies, but he can always trade him. That's not going to be a big problem for Germany, especially not if they're able to get another kill, which they're looking for as we speak. And Greymane falls.
With a triple kill in Germany's hands, only losing their Leoric, who can respawn on the battleground anywhere. That is going to be Germany taking down another... Oh, is this a team kill?
Yep, here we are. 5-man team right past Germany goes for the core. 12 kills to 14. Very solid effort by Korea and way ahead at points during the game, but then towards the end, Germany just beasting it up, and they lock in victory on Cursed Hollow and take the lead in their best of 5.
That was a fantastic map number 1 for Germany, but I also want to give massive kudos to Korea. They came out swinging quite literally with Greymane, razor swiping left and right. They were swinging those paws around, almost building momentum that was something that Germany couldn't really kind of bounce back from, but a lot of really good late game congestion from Germany. And you mentioned it throughout the game as well. Constant structural damage, proxying those waves during the curse phase. Really, really well played macro-wise from Germany when some of those micro team fights weren't going their way in the early game.
Yeah, the one thing that it also highlights, I think, is that it's really, really difficult and tricky for a team like Korea to come here and now think, okay, what do we really want to get rid of? What do we ban?
True.
You play on Cursed Hollow. You've seen the Viking game that has been played previously against Poland. You know that they love to play around Abatha as well on a map like this. So you ban it out. There's always Sergeant Hammer looming. But if you ban him, then all of a sudden, Ultralisk gets that Maiev. And we know how strong he is on that. He can play Carrigan. They haven't even picked up a Tracer or anything else yet. So it's really, really tricky. And you have to pick your poison at the end of the day. Do you allow the Germans to play macro? Are you trying to win the team fights? Or what are you going to do? So I'm a bit curious what exactly the ban pattern will be for Korea as we're heading into game number 2, because I want to see if they keep that up or if they're now starting to target, let's say, Dino or Ultralisk a bit more. Map obviously plays a bit of a role there too, but it's going to be super interesting.
It's hard to pivot at that point because Korea had such a good, strong early game, and now you have to reel it back and go, what went wrong? Where did Germany start to shift the advantage over to their side? Because the double globals were so good, being able to macro around the map. We had decent play early on as well with early kills into Germany. It's just not sure. I personally, I'm not sure how you would adjust your draft, and I'm very curious, as you had said, to find out where we're going to be going for the next map.
And we have Battlefield of Eternity coming up, so can expect more team fighting to happen here too. Vikings are not going to be a huge concern for them here, so that will definitely impact the bans. But coming back to your point, when we're talking about where it flipped, I feel like it was really the fight at the bottom where Maiev all of a sudden started to pop off. She got the perfect tethers. Yeah, exactly. It was like the trade and kills initially. And I honestly, part of me would have liked for Korea to play even a little bit more into the globals. If you have the double global, they were looking for fights. They were trying to create numbers advantages, which worked a lot. But also, I would love them to try and apply pressure by pushing the lanes out. They just went a little bit too deep with the Haka.
Okay.
They always pushed one lane, but Falset, for example, didn't really push out the top too far. And at the bottom of the map, the Haka went a bit too deep. They didn't know exactly where the Germans were positioned. He gets caught. They have to come in, save him, and get forced into a fight that they eventually lose, even though they got the first kill. So that kind of flipped it. It gave so much momentum and so many opportunities to the German team that they could go for boss, threaten the one at the bottom of the map, and that's where it just all spiraled out of control.
And I do have to point out, Germany, even though they had 0 globals, their macro play was phenomenal against a double global composition. I do think, actually, that's a really good VOD for anyone who's wondering, how did that go so well? Go back and watch the VOD and try and figure out, and actually watch how Germany adjusted their playstyle to the double globals. Of course, as you had said, the double globals weren't utilized in the most globally way, if you will, but still, it was a great map number 1, and this is a best of 5. We're getting ready for Battlefield of Eternity, and we can see a lot of these sustained damage dealers pop out. Maybe Raynor comes out for a map like this. Vala's been played on Battlefield as well. Hanzo's still up.
Hanzo's up. Li Ming also already played by Ultralisk in the previous series that Germany played, so that's another option that they can use here. Try and go for a couple of resets and play around that. Ultralisk would be happy about that too. But I mean, we're going to find out what exactly they now have up their sleeves as we're heading into the draft for map number 2. So as already mentioned, it's going to be Battlefield of Eternity. And I'm kind of excited because even more team fighting here. The globals are already out. It's not something where you have to ban the Vikings. So this is going to be a completely different approach from the Koreans too.
Wait, why wouldn't you ban Vikings?
Sorry?
Why wouldn't you? You could play Vikings on this map.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting up with me. I appreciate it.
I thought you were the Cho'Gall guy.
I am.
You already got your Cho'Gall.
You should have heard me yelling in the crowd when it happened. I was going nuts.
We should have had a roaming camera ready for that.
I heard that at the last second. I was like, oh, where is it? But as we're getting into Battlefield of Eternity, we will see a Hogger band out immediately, and Tracer as well.
I like it. South Korea really, they do their homework.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want, they're definitely doing their homework. They saw the games before and they were like, Tracer was a bit of a problem. It's actually not something that only the Koreans do. I just want to highlight that really quickly. I walked to the play area earlier. The entire US team was just like sitting there going over the games that were played previously in the day.
Yeah.
We're saying like, what would we have done in that situation? How do we play this? It was actually awesome. So everybody is currently just either scrimming or they are watching VODs, watching the games, and are just talking strategy. What are they going to do when they face up against that team? How would they deal with this composition? Absolutely love it.
Well, that was actually the conversation I had a lot with the NA players when we did some sightseeing yesterday. I was asking them, how are you preparing? What are you doing? And the big thing was, we're going to do a bunch of scrims, and then we're all going to group up together and do VOD review and look at where we were the weakest, and not sit there and go pointing fingers saying, you messed up here, don't do that. It was, okay, we initiated too hard, let's shift our ideas. Yep. So I love the way that NA is approaching this. Of course, we're here with South Korea versus Germany. We will see NA a little bit later on today. But that first pick Li Ming you were talking about, I said this to Trixler earlier. Put away the crystal ball, please.
Li Ming as the first pick for Ultralisk. I don't think he needed a crystal ball for that one.
Surely.
The resets here and also the potential on stalemates is just awesome. But yeah, the ban on Sergeant Hammer even more so. Yeah. So South Korea, they know what Germany would like to play. And they try to get rid of as much as they can. You won't ever be able to ban everything out, but you can at least limit the options a little bit. They themselves, with one of those engage comms where you're trying to stun the target out, you have Stukov, so you want some burst damage behind this and try and take him out. Which, by the way, also means that Hanzo has not been in any way, shape, or form either picked or banned yet, so he's still up for grabs.
I'd honestly like to see him on either side. He's fantastic for this map. His heroics are beautiful. So we do get that Uther Yrel. Is it main tank Uther? Maybe we see a supplemental healer as well?
Don't really think so, honestly.
No?
Not really something we've seen that much for them. Could be.
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure if Germany runs double support ever.
I would personally say that they're not going to lean towards that, but we'll see.
Sure.
They have the added stun that they now have, so they can always follow up on whatever the main tank then provides, always assuming that they're going for one. Murden gets banned, so Korea's also assuming that Uther is going to be the solo support for them. Mm-hmm. And Hanzo gets addressed, so he gets banned. I would have honestly been shocked after he wasn't picked if nobody banned him out here.
I'd like to see, in the department of race potential, a Vala would be great for either side, realistically. I'd mentioned Lunar earlier. I mentioned Jimmy right-click, and we got him.
Yep, Jim Reyna. That's actually one of those differences when you look at the Asian meta and what you have in the West. Jimmy gets played very, very rarely. Oh. Even in the context of heroes not being allowed to be played twice, and then you have to broaden your pool a bit. If Jimmy got played during the qualifiers, correct me if I'm wrong there, but it was always mapped for...
It was way later. It was never an early priority.
If Battlefield was a late map and the pool was already whittled down. But they pick him very, very early here. And they were also one of the first regions that really played around the Exterminator.
The people want Artanis.
Yeah, I know. You can get Artanis if you ban a couple of other heroes like Blaze, for example, and then you get Artanis. And Dino in particular absolutely loves to play him.
That's why, honest to God, I've had people come up to me and say, this draft style is so much fun because it reinvigorates Heroes of the Storm a little bit more. Like, regular drafting, it's fun, but when you do a best of 3 in a grassroots esports, you're going to see Hanzo, used to see the same
on
thing.
The side lane. Do you ban him? Do you pick him? It's like always the same. Genji comes in. But yeah, Dino obviously loves to play Artanis. And I asked that question to Trick earlier. I was like, okay, they were 2-0 when they picked him. So what's going to happen here? Do they really pick it also when they're in a pinch? Would they pick Artanis when they're up against an opponent that is playing on eye level, let's say on map 5?
Ooh.
That hasn't really been answered yet, but them making the choice against Korea when they're only 1-0 is already showing you that they really have faith here. Now, of course, he adds a little bit more on this map than he did, let's say, on Braxis, where he was picked last. But they have now really good push power against the Immortal 2. And you get Nick, in addition to that, also on Tyrael, which he likes to play with damage. They oftentimes even go into Judgment and do that too.
Sorry, I missed that. Sorry, I had someone talking to me in my head.
Yeah, same. So we have Imperius now up at the frontier, and also the last pick, we haven't even talked about this.
Surely.
We got a Malthael. So...
I'm wondering if we... No, it's too small of a map. We probably won't see Unapale Horse. It's probably Fear the Reaper for the ability to pass through enemies, give yourself some movement speed. We could see the extended range on Wraith Strike, I believe is the talent at level 1. But Unapale Horse...
Yeah, so, I mean, right now we have a lot of stuns that they can stack. They went for Imperius as well, so you're already looking... I mean, it's actually pretty interesting what they have now. So you have the traditional engage where you go with a Nubarak, you follow up with a Lurking Arm.
Yes.
Now you have the additional stunner of Imperius that comes in. Can pack a fair punch, too. Single target damage with Jimmy, not quite the burst. Normally, when you're seeing on the European side and engage with a Nubarak and Stukov, you would expect a mage that bursts a lot of damage in. But you still have a potential last rites even. So there are quite a few options for them to try and go in and snipe any target on the other side. And I want to see if they can do that. And that's also where Uther can, for example, become a bit of a problem if he goes for Divine Shield and has a panic button.
Well, we'll find out what the panic buttons are going to be. We'll find out what all the buttons are going to be on Battlefield of Eternity, map number 2 in our best of 5 of South Korea versus Germany. And in the blue, we got South Korea lockdown on the Imperius. We've got Chris on the Malthael, Crow playing Raynor, KCB on a Nubarak, and Hyde on that big lurking arm Stukov.
Yeah, and over on the right side of the map, the German team with the 1-0 in the best of 5 here in the winner bracket. We have Hazorps on Urel. Nick is playing Tyrael, Death Knight on Uther. We got Dino on Atanis already looking for some cheeky swaps over here. And Li Ming gets played by Ultralisk.
Reactive parry at level 1 on Battlefield of Eternity. Huh. It's a great talent.
Yeah, they have actually done this a few times. I mean, normally your go-to is always, well, you can do extra damage against the Immortal. But I really like that he is going for a different approach in showcases that you can get more, that can also get value here if you don't just single-mindedly focus on the Immortal itself. But Death Knight, talking about focusing on a single target, he's in trouble since Korea has done exactly what they showed in game number 1 already. They're looking for kills and they're finding them here against the German team. Uther down, and they would love to get the second one, of course.
It's actually Germany looking to get the counter kill onto Malthael in top lane. Nice Righteous Hammer from Urel, but not gonna be enough for a kill onto him. Looking at bottom lane on just the Raynor right now, he is going into... Wait, is that the right talent? I'm sorry, I'm blanking. No,
Yes.
it is. Okay, sorry, my brain went ace in the hole. I'm like, no, that's not right. Hold on, wait a second.
No, we're still getting the Immortal damage here, but we're also going to fight over the camp. So once again, here come the Koreans, creating a numbers advantage, at least initially, as Ultralisk starts to join the fight and turns it into a 3v3. There's another battle going on up at the top, so both of the camps are being contested at the same time. So far, no kills that happened. Jimmy in a bit of trouble here. Li Ming wants the hits and the resets, but Hyde is coming in deep and takes her down. Ultralisk dead. Germany about to lose the camp at the bottom of the map, but up at the top. Can they get the kill? Yes, they can. They take down Imperius, but Hazu, he's slow and still on the run.
He's chasing in. Malthael might have this. Hazuobs with the Righteous Hammer.
Oh, level 1! Holy hell, and there's the kill. Dino finishing off Malthael. The Angel of Death gets deaded as Germany picks up 2 at the top lane and takes the camp. Nicely done.
I gotta know how much Hazuobs is sweating from that one. Oh my god! I would have been like, hands off keyboard. I'm dead. There's no way I live out of this one.
You gotta look underneath the beanie for that.
Lockdown with a fantastic Celestial Charge. KCB trying to get this Uther, but no, he's out. Gonna Hearth.
I was about to tell you that this is actually how you can tell also if a curry is good or not. You just have to watch the head, and then I'm like, wait a second, he doesn't have any hair either, so you know.
I know all about it.
You know, if the curry's spicy, we can tell immediately.
It's the same thing with hot peppers. Whenever I eat a hot pepper, it's just like, oh, this is a good one.
Does somebody have a towel?
Top lane will have a camp pushing in. Hazuobs just holding his Avenging Wrath.
Yeah, still even experience for the team, even kills too. A little bit of a push for the Immortal, and Nick is already getting very cheeky, using the mobility to be aggressive. And Nubarak trying to turn it, the follow-up is there. Well done, but no kill and no opportunity here for the Koreans, as Germany is still courting this quite nicely, and they still have also some pressure at the top through the camp. Same for Korea.
Pursuit of Justice, want to point that out for the Uther at level 4 to be able to get the faster movement speed to chase down enemies. Celestial Charge around the objective phase. Nick getting bopped around a bit by Belith. Yeah. And it continues to be South Korea racing this down. It's 8K to 10K favoring the Korean side, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and also we have Korea pushing them back even further. The problem was that Urel had to drop down to the bottom of the map to help at the fort, so they need to take that camp down, and that gives Korea the upper hand on the race for just a bit. No level 7 in sight for either one of the teams. Hazu and Dino creating as much space as they can. And in the meantime, Ultralisk is going for the objective and is trying to sneak it away. It seems like it's working for them.
Well played from Germany. First objective phase will be in their hands going into, I think it's bottom? Yeah.
Very efficient. I'm proud of them.
Oh, how efficient was that swap right there? Lockdown.
He got locked down.
Again. Oh, you did it for me. Thank you. Yes.
You attempted.
I was. I really
took
was.
The last
I
one,
really
so yeah,
was.
I went for this one.
Lockdown is still stuck.
He's still alive. That's even more amazing. Like, how the hell is he still alive? Kill the guy. Like, what on earth? Another heal. He's still kicking and he gets out. Finally, Nick is going in with a final blow. Death Knight on, wants to die here. Thought about saving himself for just a second. He's like, wait a second. They need heals.
Wait, Maltheo died to Dino in the top of our... Okay. All right. Dino still making plays in the top lane. KCB.
It's getting spicy.
It is. It's the top of my head's getting real sweaty.
Exactly. So they're not going to go for Jimmy here, but they're definitely threatening it. The Immortal, of course, in the meantime, has already started to do damage down to the bottom. And top side, we also still had a little bit more damage done by Dino himself, so Artanis was starting to go through the gate there. But the last fight was kind of funny because Uther actually got out with 19 hit points. And he's like, wait a second, I want to die here. I want to activate the trade. I need to give them some heals, and then they might be able to push this further.
He's doing the ARAM thing. Oh, I just need mana team. No worries. Good stun from Uther. Denies the Celestial Charge, and a huge swap from Dino. Lockdown. You're out of here, bud.
I gotta admit that Dino is really hitting these swaps. He did it against Poland, he does it now against Korea. It's honestly disgusting.
Yeah, they're wicked good from Dino. Must have been practicing his Artanis off before this event. Maybe Storm Leaguing with it a ton.
ARAMs.
True,
all day, every day. Swap.
That'd be great practice for it. Nubarak, no, KCB just disengaging with the Burrow Charge.
Yeah, 5 kills to 3 now, so Germany, again, they're looking all right, but if you look at structures, Korea, it's not like they're trailing behind or anything.
No.
It looked a lot more devastating than it actually was. They lost a few more heroes, but they have done a lot of damage down to the bottom fort of Germany. They themselves, of course, also suffered some hit point losses there. But right now, they're still looking good. Bit behind the experience, but as long as they are not being caught here, they should be totally fine. And Lockdown is also having none of it. He immediately realizes the danger, and he just lets this go, asks for reinforcements, and now KCB on his Anubarak is moving in.
Urel does have scouting with a lot of members of Korea in top lane still, but even with the Anubarak and the wave gone, Germany says, I'm out, we're not going to push this any further.
Germany is also inching a bit closer to level 10. If they can maintain that small gap, that's a very, very nice window to have when you're going for Immortal number 2. It should more or less guarantee them either the halftime show or they can try and evade, which they're a little bit too late for. So Korea, they take their camp, but Germany is making a move for the Immortal. There's very little that Korea can do here. They have to soak experience, they have to get to level 10, and then they can start making moves. But right now, the Germans, they're pulling ahead.
Beautifully played. Oh my god! I don't know if it was the cleanse or the blink, but that is going to deny the cocoon as Divine Shield will connect onto the Artanis. We have a huge Hyperion chasing down Germany as a large, slow Anubarak with the Burrow Charge. A nice Celestial Charge into Dino. Still swapping through the enemy. Maltheo with the Tormented Souls will expire. And a fight, meh.
There's Judgment. He's trying to go in, but that was a huge commitment. They used pretty much all of their cooldowns here. And that's a massive problem for them right now, because Germany, they haven't taken the halftime show yet, but they definitely will aim for it now. And outside of Judgment, Nick got a little bit too eager there.
I would agree, and that eagerness might be punished here as the Eldruins... Oh my god, 100 or so HP. Nicely played, Nick.
Calculated.
Very much. Intended. Never a sweat.
German efficiency.
Ardent Defender still up and available. Angelic Armament for the Imperious. Flailing Swipes for the Stukov. And Li Ming is going to get her Wave of Force back. So some of those heroics are here and available again.
Korea's doing really well here.
I agree.
Much better than I expected after the initial lead for Germany. So now all of a sudden it's just Jimmy doing as much damage as he can. Dino comes in and tries to take him down, but the fight is spreading out all over the middle of the map now. Both teams on level 10 with heroic abilities, and cooldown's already coming back for the Koreans. Oh, Urel has to be super careful here. And once again, it's Malthael who's looking for kills. Uther's already down. Counter killer attempt on Hyde. And here comes Nick with a judgment. And Stukov has been judged to be not worthy, has been taken down. Atanis finally dies. Korea accomplished what Poland couldn't, taking down Dino here. And still, objective gets focused, but who takes it?
Oh, it's easily going to be Germany grabbing objective. It will go into top lane. Still have a camp up there that needs to be dealt with. And Artanis up in 7 seconds, Stukov up in 2. So we should have full defense, full aggression from both sides. Though how will it be played from the side of Germany?
Well, they can definitely now start pushing topside. It seems that Urel at least stays at the bottom at first. In an ideal world, they take 2 forts. They're able to push through at the bot lane, and then can, with the help of the Immortal, take the top. But Jimmy alone is going to burn this one down very, very quickly. There's not a huge shield that they can play around with. Hasn't scaled properly into the late game yet. So they're going to take some damages here. But unless Germany makes a massive commitment now and tries to push them past the fort, they will save this one.
Malthael's also denied Urel's push through bottom lane the entire time. So it's just... No actual advantages are found from the side of Germany on this. A bit of damage onto the top lane fort. And Urel continues to try things in bottom.
Yeah, we don't have a talent advantage for anybody yet either, so that Immortal didn't really do a whole lot for them. Still 12%. I like it though. I mean, the series so far has been very entertaining. We're only in game number 2, but the first map already was a huge back and forth throughout the entire map, and now we're on the second one, and it looks very, very similar. I love the aggression attempt with Judgment. Always love when Nick goes for his tier. You never really know what you get. Are they playing it around the Sanctification? Are they going for Judgment instead? And yeah, this is going to be pretty awesome as the game continues and the Immortals become more and more important.
13's apiece for both teams in just but a moment. Objective phase should be announced fairly soon as well. Some camps to be cleared out around the map as a huge rotation from Germany is had. Looking to take down the top lane fort potentially, as South Korea says, no, that's ours, that's not happening. Angelic Armament from Lockdown.
Yeah, okay, once again, no, actually, sorry, my bad, not popped yet. It was actually Imperious instead, and Jimmy is down at the bottom of the map doing his solo thing.
I like this. I really like that split really quickly to just push things up a bit. Hazuabs has to come down to clear it up. Anubarek will be working on the Bruiser camp with the rest of his team. I don't think we have the one for Germany. No, it's not up and available. Not anytime soon, I don't think either. So, North and South objective phase here, Khaldor. Is it going to be straight race?
I actually don't think so. Not with the way that we've been playing it so far. Korea seems to just try and keep Jimmy alone on the Immortal. He is able to take it down by himself. And then with the rest of the team, try and buy themselves some time and go for a fight or at least some poke. But here comes another swap. Ult's already out. Hyperion is being used as well. And here comes another one as Dino is just swapping things left and right. But the red team is chasing kills. They themselves are falling low. This is actually insanely close. Death Knight, the first one to fall. But it's a Stukov kill on the other side. Both supports are gone.
A kill on to Jimmy as well. Hazuab's pressuring Malthael. Yeah, it's just what? Lockdown does get the Angelic Armament.
Lockdown, careful here. They're trying to retreat. It's a 4 versus 3 at this point in time. And already Dino slowly making his way up towards the top lane. There's a huge opportunity now for Germany to take some of these forts, even outside of the objective. So they have multiple points to hit on the map, while the Koreans can only rely on 3 players.
Imperious Malthael rotate to top, trying to deny Artanis' push and taking down the fort. Meanwhile, Anubarek's zoning around his objective, but I don't think he should stick around there too long.
Yeah, dives out again, has to be very careful, as we already said, for that exact reason. That's a staggered death against Korea, and they cannot afford those. Big mistake here, absolutely understandable, but now they're paying the price for it. Nice moves up at the top as we see Tyrell come in with Judgment. But yeah, still it's a 5 versus 4, so right now another swap and holy hell, Dino, calm down, dude.
These swaps are just S tier. Doesn't get the kill. Still beautiful. Still awesome to see. Nick trying to dive in for some pressure. He won't be able to find anything. Actually, no, they do find onto Lockdown, forcing him to use the Angelic Armament again, and it's Artanis punished.
Yeah, Dino a bit too deep in this case, and so he goes down. 7 kills to 9. Nobody on level 16 just yet, but South Korea has an opportunity. They lost the halftime. There's still forts on both lanes for them. At no point had Germany an opportunity to go for it and finally drop them. And now Korea actually has a chance to go for the Immortal and lock in the objective. Germany is a bit closer to level 16, but they're down 1 player.
Nubarak burrows from the far side of the wall, gets the combo onto Li Ming, forcing Death Knight to utilize his Divine Shield as the Celestial Charge. Oh no, okay, I thought the Celestial Charge missed. Actually, it might have been onto Nick, but he's teleporting around with the Sword of Justice.
Yeah, so now the talents are there, and on top of that, we have an Immortal for Korea. It's a crazy game. Germany had the upper hand. They get the initial kills. They make their way into the middle. They get the halftime show. Korea gets that 1 drop on Dino and then uses their numbers advantage to bring it back on the objective side. And now they can push with even talents and hope to take a second fort down. So this is getting a bit tricky for Germany. They gotta be careful here. This is Immortal number 3, and of course, as this continues, these bad boys are gonna scale hard, and Germany is losing ground now.
Alarian's doing somewhere in the ballpark of 1,400, 1,600 damage at this point in the game with his scaling. Beautiful damage into this fort, and we continue to see that melee pressure. Alarian's at 90% HP overall, so ooh, lockdown?
Yep, that is a kill. Judgment to seal the deal. Top lane fort, by the way, has fallen South Korea's side, and that's not the only thing that falls here. After Imperius was killed, Malthael and the Nubarak, they both get wrecked, and now it's a chase as Germany is looking for kill number 4.
It is going to be a solid quadra kill for Germany. Alarian will be cleared out by Hazuabs. The keep is safe. Top lane fort does fall, and Germany rushes, I think, to bottom lane, opening or finding parity on the map.
Yeah, so at this point, they could also steal the Bruiser camp away, which just has spawned now. There's only Stukov. He's just not enough. Of course, you're going to get that fort, but you also want to get a little bit more. So if you can just sneak the camp away, you deny it to your opponent, you might be able to set up a push yourself at the bottom of the map. What is even worth more, though, is that lead-in experience now. They're so much closer to level 20. And if they can just buy themselves enough time for the next objective to get Storm Talons, then Korea is in real trouble.
Late game quadra kill, bolstering a ton of experience for Germany as Hazuabs gets another camp for his allies. Artanis, Dino doing the same thing. Nick will hearth out as well, getting some resets, prepping for the next objective phase, though Death Knight is getting dove on. Dino does leave the camp. Is there enough time to get a Divine Shield? Yes, Suppression Pulse is used as well. Ultralisk pops off. Does he get a reset? Ultralisk, can you get the reset? Doesn't get the blink away from the cocoon. Nick will try and break them out. And now Dino, the new target, flailing swipes from Stukov to push back his allies. And this will be Korea finding a kill.
Yeah, so there it is, another kill for Korea every time they need it. But all of a sudden it's Imperius who becomes the focus, and he falls. Hyperion is out. They want another one, but they can't. It is Jimmy that dies. Uther dead. Can still heal through the fight, of course, as Malthael is trying to wreck Germany here with his ult.
I see all these pings onto Ultralisk, and I keep going, why is he not dying? And oh, Ghost Uther. Ghost Uther was sitting there spamming heals, keeping Ultralisk alive, and it is a 2 for 2.
Bot lane, there is still a camp for Germany, so in the long run that might give them a bit of structural damage too, but they are still trying to brawl it out up at the top. Each team lost a few of their heroes, objective is up again. Works in Germany's favor. Their experience just spirals further and further towards level 20, and that Storm Talent advantage is nothing to sneeze at.
It's almost like we get... The early game is so good for Korea, and then Germany hits 13-16 area, and they go, okay, we're done playing around. It's time to shut down this, and it's 9-15 in kills. 20 talent tier is a 16th of an experience away, even less than that. And Urel jumps away. They're just waiting for that trickle in. Imperius will be clearing out bottom lane camp, as you had mentioned earlier. Yeah,
Germany is just playing the slow right now. They know they got time, but they're also poking. So not only do they win the objective as is already, but they're also getting closer to Storm Talents that they are now able to grab. And this is going to get wild. And of course, Nick goes for the upgraded Judgment.
Yes!
So yes, Nick wants a party here. And given how these fights have been going so far, this talent makes a whole lot of sense for him.
Isn't it just insane big range and cooldown?
Yes. The fights have been so long that he's going to get multiple ults through easily.
Oh, yeah. There's the first one initiating.
At this point, he's just YOLOing them out. There was no follow-up opportunity there.
20
he just
seconds.
goes for it, zones them, forces the fight onto Nubarak. They're trying to go for him too. Jimmy already with his own ult with the Hyperion. And here comes Malthael. But Tyrael has another 10 seconds, and we're going to get another judgment potentially.
Divine Shield, maybe forced out by forced out.
There's a camp too now at the top, so there's a Shaman camp pushing.
Yeah.
Well, they're fighting here, so there's so many points
Good
that Korea has to defend. And there's still half a level until they have 20. The attack and the kill! Tyrael is dead. Nicely done.
That's huge for South Korea, finding a double kill.
Yeah, that is actually a bit spicy here. That was massive. And this is honestly also starting to become a real problem for Atanis in particular. This is the 4th time that he died now. Uther on 6 deaths, Atanis on 4. And Korea has not only level 20, but again, it's like the 2nd, 3rd time that they have an opportunity to turn the Immortal race around. It's actually insane.
Catapults in top lane are fixated onto this keep, but there's a minion wave dealing decent damage to both actually the catapults. Still, more than 50% of this keep will be falling for double catapults. I think you're a little okay with that for Germany. Yeah, you did lose the Immortal phase. This is still a little bit rough because I was going to say, oh, it's not that bad, but death timers are a little long still. Dyna won't be in position to defend this until the Immortals at the keep already.
I mean, what worries me more is from the perspective of Germany that Korea is just picking up these kills whenever they need them. It's just like, it's not like they can pick they pick them up throughout the game, but every time they're in trouble, they are able to make that one play, get that one kill, and this is now the 2nd or 3rd time that they turned the Immortal around, even though they were behind. And that is pretty impressive. So they're just not giving up. They're digging in deep and they're trying to get their wins there. Dino with another swap, trying to create some chaos and havoc here. But here comes Hyperion. This is where you can perfectly use it. Hyperion with extra damage on the keep. This is just stellar for Jimmy.
Yamato Cannon dealing massive damage to structures. We also have Execute Order for the Rainer at level 20. We'll talk about that a little bit later because the fight still continues around the core of Germany. Can South Korea make the gods bleed?
Well, they're going to try definitely now with a quick judgment onto Stukov. No follow-up there yet. One keep down on the side of Germany. Nothing really lost on the blue team. At least at the top lane, the keep has taken damage, but it hasn't fallen. And they're still sieging up here. Hazops was joining up with the rest of the team, was thinking about maybe also engaging. But they are defending, playing for time. And this is going to be decided on the next objective. We're 21, 22 minutes into the game already. And it is a slight lead, a lead for South Korea. As again, Nick comes in with Judgment, trying to force that fight.
Crow gets a nice penetrating round, but the Sword of Justice allows Nick to back away. Tormented Souls from the Malthael, amplifying damage into Dino. Celestial Charge, but Divine Shield comes out just in time.
For Atanis, saving him. And now the chase is still on. Both of the teams just dancing around each other, looking for opportunities here. Nicely done by Ultralisk, first connecting the damage, doing it again, trying with the wave of force here. There's another judgment. They really want the Nubarak, and the bug is down. And Nubarak is dead. They kill him. The tank gone. 5 versus 4 in Germany's favor. But it's slipping that 4 as Stukov goes in. Jimmy dead too. Hyperion out once again, and the ult on Urel has been popped.
Jimmy's death timer, by the way, a lot less because of that Execute Order. Hyperion coming up because of that as well. Nice cleanse from Malthael, just in case Dyna was looking for the Phase Prism swap. But Khaldor, during all of that, we had an Immortal pushing into bottom lane, attacking core. That fight went back and forth so long. We have another Immortal spawning.
Yes, and we will still have a dead Nubarak when it spawns, and that's the case right now. Thankfully for them, Liming's also dead. So it's a 4 versus 4 with Jimmy just now coming back, and losing Ultralisk in that situation is a big problem, of course. So yeah, this will be pretty interesting. With all of the attacks, by the way, that we're seeing from Tyrael and him just YOLOing out his ult whenever it's off cooldown, we currently have him as the top damage dealer for the German team.
Get out of town, really?
88,000, which is just bonkers. And talking about damage, there's enough to take Imperius on, and he gets popped as Nubarak comes back. Second time that Korea has these staggered deaths that are just not necessary, and they can't afford it right now.
No. I'm watching minimap to see how the lane is being set up, what's being dealt with. Li Ming is back 45 seconds on the Imperius as the camp is cleared out in bottom lane.
Hazorps, 0 deaths. The old man is showing the boys how it's done. Look at that.
He's playing Urel, okay? Come on.
That has nothing
She's
to do with it.
got a million buttons to
That
save
has
herself.
nothing to do with it. It's all about his hairstyle and the experience.
Well, hairstyle will give him, yeah, that's very true. Crow getting judged here by the Tyrael, and there's a suppression pulse. Can they get the kill? Because Rainer's health is not moving.
Yeah, bot lane, by the way. The core on Germany's side is losing its shield, but they, of course, want to get some kills here and then maybe go and end the game themselves. Couldn't get the kill here, but the party isn't over yet. It's still an Immortal up for grabs. They're moving in, trying to take it, and this time they will. Finally, Germany locking in an objective. Nicely done. 5 versus 5 on the map, and Korea is looking to chase, even with Imperius not here yet. The Germans, they're moving back. Ultra is taking that penetrating round to the face. And that got scary for a moment. Even they didn't believe that they would hit anything. They already moved back.
So a 24-minute Immortal here, dealing probably around 2,000 damage to structures, but that shielding is already gone. Belith moves into melee range, and I don't know, Khaldor, 2-3 attacks onto this keep. I don't think it's fallen in bottom.
Yeah.
But wait, hold on. Germany's coming right behind this, so maybe
exactly.
It will be.
They are trying to take this one on, and I think they should be able to drop the keep, but no. Jimmy is doing such a fantastic job with Exterminator that they haven't gotten anything out of this objective. This is just bonkers. Korea is doing so well in defending and not giving up on this game. They're always clawing their way back.
That is actually the perfect way to say it. Clawing their way back into this.
Oh,
are out from Germany. They cut through Malthiel. He dies. Hyde getting really low. There's a nice suppression pulse from the Artanis. Angelic Armament looking for counter damage, counter kill, but it's Li Ming supplying fantastic burst. Judgment into the Stukov. Oh, golly, this is going so well for Germany.
What a great fight for them. Taking Stukov and Imperius out, and it's literally, again, Ultralisk who initially said, I am done with this. Let's go, boys. He gets the resets, he gets the damage. They go for Malthael. He dies too.
80.
That's 3 down on the side of Korea, and this is a big opportunity. Germany's a bit low here, but they need to take at least a keep down. They should try for 2, if not core.
Hazu's positioning says, we're going core right here, right now. We gotta end it. Dino, just another blade dash through the minion wave. Not
25.
looking for a swap.
25 seconds.
Judgment, on to Crow. Immediately, Hazu's comes in, Righteous Hammer, big ol' reset for Li Ming. It's a quadra kill overall to the side of Germany, and I think, ladies and gentlemen, Germany takes another map here in Nations Cup. Map number 2 in South Korea versus Germany goes to Germany, and a team kill!
5-man team wipe, and yes, nicely done. 2-0, but damn, both of these maps were so close.
That was really good, actually. Like,
I
don't count Korea out at all for that.
No, not even a little bit. I really thought they would take the second map and they pushed at the bottom. So yes, Korea looking very good, but Germany coming back when it counts, and Ultralisk with a lot of great plays. Not only in map number 1, but also on the second one. When they needed those kills, they were there.
Who would you say is the MVP for Germany?
I would say, like, in this, it's a little bit tough to say.
Because those judgments, they were wild, but they were so they were bad and good at the same time. Like, there was like, why are you judging here? It's you're so deep, but okay, well, this one's working out really good. So
I mean, you also have like Hazu, who's just like solid. You know, it's not really that kill that you get. It's always the DPS players that stand out the most, I'd say. And if you look at it in game 1 and game number 2, both times when it looked a little bit dire. First time with Maiev, second time with Li Ming. Ultralisk just found the target and went for it, so I would probably give it to him. But then I gotta admit that it's a little bit of a DPS bias that still plays into that. So yeah. But yeah, obviously for the players, we're going to give them a minute or two to head to the bathroom really quickly, a short break to focus on game number 3, and then we're heading into the draft. So we'll be back in a few seconds. Keep in mind that you can also still contribute to the crowdfunding if you want to ban more heroes for Sunday or for the grand final. ! bans in Twitch chat. Just use that as a command. It lists not only the heroes that are perma-banned for the playoffs here, but also gives you a link to the crowdfunding and additional information. And if you're in Berlin or close by, you can always stop by. The show is going to run long today, and tomorrow we're going to start again at 11 a.m. So we'll see you in a couple of minutes with game number 3. Until then, quick break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and Murloc mains to the Nations Cup. Yeah, are you not a Murloc?
No, that's Tim. That was Tim's job.
Oh, okay. Well,
Tim went for the Murlocs. Like I stuck to the standard picks more so.
Standard is boring.
Standard picks and now also standard shirts again. Like I couldn't. It's too hip for me. Too many colors. You know, like it's too happy. Germans don't like happiness. So
okay.
Something
I have noticed that in a
boring.
lot in the art that I saw around the city. It's just very depressing.
That's the exact opposite of what Tim said.
No, it's actually a lot of beautiful art in the city. And honestly, if you're in the city visiting, be sure to go to like Museum Island or something. A lot of great art, free museums or cheap museums as well. And just great history to check out here in Germany. But we're checking out something better. That's Heroes of the Storm. We're in our third best of 5 of the day. We've got South Korea going up against Germany. It's 2-0 favoring Germany. And Khaldor, do you think the boys can do it?
I think so. I think Germany, we talked a little bit about it at the beginning. I think they are actually the favorites here.
Yeah.
Not by much, as you can tell from how the games play out, but having that 2-0 lead, that gives you quite the edge over your opponent. We have seen reverse sweeps. We have seen them also in the round robin, but it's so hard to pull off just from a mental perspective too. And I have to imagine that they're also going up against, I don't want to say a hostile crowd, but the Germans definitely have more fans here at the venue that cheer for them. And as we said before, it's packed.
Wait.
So every single play is being cheered on, and they can hear that at least a little bit.
There's a lot of German fans in Germany?
Yeah, it has
surprising.
Happens every now and then, yeah. I think we have like 1 or 2 there in the audience, if I saw that correctly. So, but yeah, first of all, of course, we need to check out what the draft's going to be, which heroes are going to be picked. Keep in mind that we have special rules. The heroes that you see down at the bottom of your screen, they are not available for the entirety of the playoffs. And in addition to that, every single hero can only be played once per series, which means that 20 additional heroes are unavailable right now as we're heading into this one. So, already getting a bit interesting.
Khaldor, for clarification, I've gotten this question a couple times when I was doing some Nations Cup qualifiers. Raynor was played by South Korea last game. Does that mean Germany can pick Raynor?
No.
Thank you. There are people who are asking me that, so I just want to clarify it for everyone at home. If you see it's played, it's out. No Raynor, it's gone. No more Lucio.
That would actually be really, really complicated because
I know,
already
right?
we're running into problems where some people are like, oh yeah, we picked that hero, but he was played in game number 1. So most of them, the admins are literally running an Excel sheet to that the players have access to make sure that they know which heroes are still available and which heroes are banned out. But yeah, that would get infinitely more complicated if we would make it per side or something like that. So yeah.
Sergeant Hammer, no fun. I was really hoping this ban wouldn't come through, to be honest. I was really hoping. Ooh, I'm happy again. I'm back into it.
That's the problem. This is exactly the problem we've now talked about in 3 drafts. You have a couple of heroes. You have to make a choice if you're going up against players like Ultralist, like Dino, like Nick. You have to make a choice. You can't ban out all of their key heroes. There's always some people, that look at this like, oh my god, how can you not ban Kerrigan here? It's like, well,
do you want to deal with
Kerrigan? Then all of a sudden you might face off against Sergeant Hammer. Yeah. And on Infernal Shrines, they definitely know how to play that well. So I like the bans for South Korea. It shows very clearly they know what the Germans want to play, but the pool of heroes is so deep for most of these players that they will always have an alternative. Maiev was already played by Ultralisk, and here on Infernal Shrines, he goes for the early Kerrigan pick. But I also like what Korea did. Muradin, Tychus, solid start.
I mentioned it to Trixler earlier when we were casting a previous game. I love the Kerrigan Ana Uther combo. Old, tried and true, really, really strong. But actually, I say that Uther was played already, so my bad, actually. Decker Kane and Sonya will be the ones grabbed for Germany. Still solid. By the way, Khaldor, that is a Cho'Gall setup. Just saying. That's a really good Cho'Gall setup.
Okay, is there anything that's not a Cho'Gall setup in your head?
Oh yeah, there's tons of stuff that's not a Cho'Gall setup.
Okay, fair enough.
No, there's a lot.
I was just trying to judge the fanboy level of where exactly we're at.
I love the character, but I'm not going to go out of my way and be like, play him anytime. No. You got to be smart about these things. Medivh to be banned away, that's a pain point that's gone as well.
Yes. By the way, I like Sonya and Deckard Cain a lot for them here.
True.
Sonya has been very strong in the round robin, and we've seen her a lot. Huge sustain. You have Deckard Cain then with the potions on the shrine. There's a lot of zoning that he brings too, so that's great for them. And always the follow-up on good Kerrigan sons they bring in with this as well. So very nice foundation for them too. Malfurion gets addressed, so focusing some of the supports a little bit more. Alexstrasza still up if somebody wants to go for transformation.
And
Mephisto did that
too.
back in the HCC days, the double transform with Alexstrasza, Tychus picks. So technically Korea could now do that too.
I do like the Mephisto with Alexstrasza as well. You get globes from level 1 if you go that direction, or you could just go E-build completely, and then late game at level 20, you get the massive cooldown reduction on the Dragon Queen form with that level 20 upgrade for Alexstrasza. But it's Chen and Whitemane. I do love the displacement of Chen Wandering Keg. It's a really good pushback into the dive that Kerrigan Sonya offer.
But it's also bringing a little bit of a tear to my eye because it means that we're not getting a washing machine on the other side.
True.
So, yeah, no Crater.
Wait, you think this game's going to 20?
So, yeah.
No, it's all right. South Korea got the brooms out. Didn't you see them in the hallway?
Sorry?
They were walking down the hall with some brooms all the way to the stage. So I think they're ready for this reverse sweep. But a Diva Vala. Oh, hi, Trick. Any thoughts? Any thoughts on the draft? Good draft. All right, thank you, Trixler.
How did he know? Like, production literally was like, should we show a sleeping Tim on camera? And the second the camera goes on him, there's like no sound made or nothing, and he goes immediately like, what's going on? Like, he has a sixth sense for casting right now. Look at him. He's a natural. He's smiling. He's all happy with himself. He has, like, yeah.
It's a good time. Fantastic. We're having a blast here. Honestly, it's been a really, really fun day so far. We had that Diva Vala tankless composition for the side of Germany, but there's that Mephisto I was mentioning. Love it here.
Yeah, Mephisto is in, and with Diva Vala, I mean, this is already a bit wild. So you have Sonya, you have Kerrigan, and you have Diva. That's a lot of zone control. Deckard Cain feeds into that a bit, as I already said. And then you have, as the only real range damage dealer, you have your Vala there. I like it. It's very aggressive, though. And it's something where you want to take control of the fights and of the game. You don't want to just, like, drag them out too much. You really want to be on point with that. And, of course, with that, we're immediately looking to Kerrigan and her setting the stuns up for the rest of the team to follow up on.
I know Leap is going to be more synergistic with how Germany is going to be playing this, but do you think this is a world where we see Wrath of the Berserker for shrine clearing, team fighting, sieging?
I'm actually a little bit torn on it, because on the one hand it gives a sustain, but on the other, if you really rely on Kerrigan to get a combo through, and then you can go in with Leap, or even just pressure the back lane and the supports of the Koreans more by leaping in and keeping her safe for a bit, that could both work. So I really feel it depends a bit on how they want to play it, but both would be an option. It's maybe with Chen and with Murden, if you leap, you're real...
it gets scary.
Yeah,
it's a little spooky.
You could get very, very quickly isolated yourself and find yourself on the receiving end. So maybe on this map, with this comp, Breath of Berserker might just give you a little bit more. Also considering they don't have an actual main tank, they just have some bruisers there that will create space for them.
We've loaded on into map number 3. Could be the final map in this best of 5, as we've got South Korea on the left-hand side, map 3 Infernal Shrines, KCB on the Muradin, Chris playing the Chen, Hyde will be on the Whitemane, Crow on Tychus, and Lockdown on that spooky skeleton Mephisto.
And to the right side of the map with a 2-0 lead in this best of 5. The first match point for Germany. Hazops with Sonya. We get Dainu on Vala. Nick is playing Diva, so a bit of a Diva main tank from him, with Death Knight rocking Deckard Cain, and of course it is Ultralisk who is playing Kerrigan in game number 3.
Sustainability picked at level 1 by Nick here. I do love that a ton. Being able to just tap 1 and get your well anytime you want. You also get cooldown reduction on it.
Yeah, also noteworthy here that we have a multi-shot build. And it is...
I like it.
Very... I love it. I love it on Infernal Shrines in particular. But it was always surprising to me how in pretty much all of the round-robin matches when Vala was played, it was either an arrow build or an auto-attack style.
True.
Didn't matter if it was a double support, hyper carry, if it was a single support, especially with like triple frontline, they oftentimes use still the auto-attack stacking, but of course, and even on Infernal Shrines, but you would think that multi-shot is just like the dominant build here, since you get so much value on not only the shrine, but towards the objective. So I like that we have it here from Dainu, and I can't wait to see how much damage he's going to be able to drop in the late game in particular.
Big slow.
Yeah, huge one.
Lockdown threatened, but not killed. Okay.
Yeah, but
Sapphire
Ultralisk is waiting for these opportunities, and it's gonna get scary. So far, South Korea has pulled ahead twice in the early game, and then later on lost that advantage.
It's that 13-16 area we were mentioning in the last game. It's almost a power shift for Germany. They get a talent tier advantage, or it's something that starts to click in the game for them. But right now, it's early game, and of course, the spray game's on point.
It absolutely is. Always. Never fails. And somehow I'm always so disappointed when somebody just drops like a generic spray. It's inexcusable.
Sure,
The Swedes do that sometimes. It's a little bit disappointing.
Nick with a steal. Actually, Nick with a steal onto this camp, uncontested. Okay.
Yeah. And they're getting a kill too.
Uh-oh, hide. Bye-bye.
Hai gets caught and he gets killed. So that's not only a steal on the camp, but it's also a kill against White Main. So off to a good start for Germany. 11 stacks also for Dino, so that helps. And it even contributes to more damage.
No.
There's the combo and bye-bye.
Oh. You don't like to see it. You don't like to see it. Personally, I'm rooting for South Korea. I want more games today. I got nothing against Germany, but give us more games. First objective phase, 40 seconds away from contested. Hazuabs just poking back onto Chen. Little slam, hello.
I'm very interested to see how the Koreans are now going to deal with this, because up to now in all of the games they were the ones to initiate in the early game and get a few kills, maybe a half a level of an advantage. But now they find themselves in the opposite situation. They have to claw their way back into this. And we've seen that in the mid and late game, they can do this by forcing a fight, getting a good kill, and then building on it. But now they have to be very careful that they're not getting snowballed around the objectives.
Both teams, do they trade out the Fallen Shamans? Basically same timing. 7 talents here, though, way quicker to the side of Germany.
Yep.
Half a level to go for their team.
Yeah, absolutely. And around the shrine, this is pretty much what decides whether or not you're getting Punisher #1. So unless Germany is griefing now a bit, they should walk away with this, no question. South Korea is attempting to slow it down, but Germany is playing it slow. They're moving back a little bit. They have taken the initial lead. Now they can split onto the lane, get the experience for level 7, and then they will likely start to re-engage with the talent advantage.
Whoa, KCB jumping over the wall, looking for pressure onto Dino. But Dino says, I'm out of here, just going to tap well, get myself a little extra mana, get a potion, which is that's Potion of Shielding at level 4 from the Decker Cane. Big thing I wanted to note, of course, during the draft, Death Knight has the opportunity for Emerald at level 7, and that's going to be great healing denial into the massive burst that Kerrigan and Vala and probably Sonya will be offering up from Germany.
Yeah, and they have this is rough. This is rough for South Korea in the early
Nice
game.
jump.
You are likely going to lose the fort here. Intercession is already in as well now. The grenade build continues for Tigers, and they just zone them past the fort, take this one down easy. Chen isn't even here, neither is Mephisto. He's at the bot lane, the Panda up top, and that is the first structure to go down here. So yeah, job well done. Really nice opening for Germany. They get a bit of an advantage. They take a fort down. The Koreans starting to close that gap a bit, but that's about as good as it gets in the early game. So Germany on match point #1, looking strong.
Elusive Brawler at level 7, picked up by Chen, but the big thing I want to note is the level 4, which is that Withering Flame. That's a 60% spell power reduction. You put that on Decker Cane, you're reducing his spell power. Kerrigan is spell power correlates to healing as well, but Kerrigan and Vala poke ability can be reduced as well. Looking to see how Chen will utilize that as the game does progress. 10 talent here though, level and a half away or so for both these sides.
Yeah, and again, Nick looking to potentially flank a bit here, trying to look his displacement in, and we go. Damage after the combo is dropped on Muradin. Not killed, but still enough to force him back for now.
Did notice Muradin went into Dwarf Block at level 1. I feel like that's just going to get eaten up by all the D.Va sustained damage.
Yeah.
Maybe I would have liked to see third win personally. Just little things here and there. Of course, these players are 10 times better than I am, so they've got a better idea of what they want to do.
Yeah, but Budget Gimli has to be careful, especially with Vala at the front and all of these stuns coming out. So the CC and the control is there. We talked about it during draft. You have Deckard Kane, you have D.Va to buy yourself some space, and with level 10 now kicking in, the big question is, of course, what exactly Hazel is going to do here. Are they risking it, or are they just going to play the safe? So far, we don't have a choice yet, and well, Sonya is still up at the top, so they're holding this one back too. They are trying to keep the Koreans guessing as well, so it's not a clean-cut discussion for them either.
I like it. All the heroics I like from the side of
There it
Germany
is.
at this time, and it is going to be Wrath of the Berserkers we talked about during the draft.
I can tell you though, if it would have been Nick playing Sonya, that would have been an easy answer right there.
True.
That would have been a leap. But instead, we get Kerrigan and Ultralisk do what they do best. They get kills down here at the bottom. Down they go. Quick kill on Murden and Tigers, and they're not stopping there. It's a triple, baby. Kerrigan coming in, and Ultralisk just doing what Ultralisk does, all empowered by that level 10 that the Koreans just didn't have in that situation.
Khaldor, I'm going to ask you a question here. Do you think that the wind was taken out of the sails of Korea after that Battlefield of Eternity map going like 27 minutes? Because it really feels like Korea's just slowing down a lot in this game. I don't see the same early game aggression from Korea that I saw in map 1 and 2. Are they trying something different? Are they
No, I honestly
depressed?
don't really think so. I mean, the last fight where Germany picked up most of their kills was with the level 10 advantage. They might not have expected them to dive this deep, and maybe they underestimate also Ultralisk Karrigan a bit. One of the issues is I don't really know what exactly Korea could use as research material against Germany and German players. So oftentimes Karrigan was banned or even played against Germany, and Ultralisk couldn't even pick that.
Gotcha.
So they will probably be aware, hey, he's good on those heroes, he likes to play as Maiev. But now I think about it, lately in the round robin phase, how many times did he actually get his Karrigan? So not that often. So maybe they underestimated that a little bit and said like, yeah, it could be a threat here, but maybe they didn't think that it would be this devastating to their backline.
KCB will pop the Avatar, trying to re-engage into the enemy as Chen, by the way, went into Storm, Earth, and Fire. He's looking for a ton of stagger damage, pop the Storm, Earth, and Fire, cancel that out, and maybe find some pressure into the enemy.
28 stacks by now for Vala, so solid damage coming from her. Still not a single kill for Korea.
Ooh.
And off we go. White main gone. At least an ult on Vala. They're trying to keep her alive. KCB is on her. And now we have Mephisto attempting to chip in some damage too. And that is kill number 1 for Korea as they drop Dino. They drop Deckard Cain. It's a double. Mephisto falls. Murder is dead too. They go for the final ones and murder Chen, which leaves only Tychus on the map for the blue team.
Ultralisk with the triple kill, overall a quadra kill to the side of Germany. And the biggest thing I gotta note, the last breath of Deckard Cain drops an Emerald Heraldric Cube over the enemy, 75 healing reduction on all those players, and Ultralisk rubs his palms together and says, it's time to ravage, boys.
And now another fort is going to fall. That's the final one for Korea. They lost the middle at objective 1, then the bottom, and Germany hit level 10. And with a 2-level lead, the German team is looking for glory in this series. A 2-0 lead already. They're trying to get to the winner bracket final. And they're going again. Strong at the bot lane, but Ultralisk gets focused, and he might have just gone a bit too deep here. A bit too much confidence from
A touch too aggressive there. But when you're, what, it was 2-9 in kills, nearly a 2-level lead, I can expect that aggression out of Ultralisk.
Yeah, it's a little bit too confident. Usually you see that from the French.
You know what? Just needed mana.
Look at Sonya though. She's taking all that space on the map to just murder the top lane. I mean, there's more kills coming as Vala is now dropping Tychus. They drop. Oh Jesus, they are crushing them now. Look at how close they are to level 16. That's a 3-level advantage that they're rocking any moment now. And Sonya is just murdering the top keep. Korea is falling apart here. Absolutely falling apart.
Hazuabs gains a keep for the side of Germany as lockdown. Maybe? No. Okay. I thought Nick could potentially find a kill into lockdown, but Deckard Cain's Scroll of Sealing won't connect either. Hazuab's Wrath of Berserker will expire.
We're 10 minutes in. Look at the minimap.
Oh, I know.
They keep gone. There's no fort standing. All the lanes pushed against the keep walls on the left side. So they have a talent advantage. They have a massive, massive level advantage on top of that too. They're just painting the map red, taking one camp after another, laying a couple of traps, trying to get another combo off. This time, Crow able to dodge it and trying to punish Ultralisk again, who has to drop his ult.
Good utilization of the Ultralisk from Ultralisk. Hazuab's a little low here. Wrath of Berserker, I don't know if it's active. Big healing did not. Oh my god, Hazuab's, how are you alive? Well, you're not. Never mind. Yep. He was. It was cool for him.
Yeah, it was good.
Mech Explosion from Nick.
Okay, that's you, and Muradin dies, so they at least get a counter kill here. 12-4 on the kill count, camp in the middle. Germany still aggressive, trying to keep that chokehold on the opponent's team. Ultralisk with the Chrysalis. Can they save him? They're getting some of it in, but he wanted the kill and couldn't get it. Instead, he falls. Korea taking the chances that Germany is giving them here and trying to get back into the game. So, shouldn't count them out yet. They were absolutely getting murdered just a minute or two ago, but now they're picking up one kill after another and nearly went for a full team wipe against Germany.
Quadra kill to South Korea, who are able to start reeling back in that experience. 6-12 in kills overall. Next objective phase, bottom of the map. I believe this is the third one of the game. Should be announced fairly soon. Tychus and crew getting into position for camps and also more soak round Infernal Shrines.
16 is ready for Korea now, so at this point they are even in talents with the German team. Structurally, way behind. I mean, not even close. but that gives them a fighting chance in any team fight that we might see now.
Subjugation and shared punishment, 13-16 on Hyde, really, really good. That 16 is going to be huge for the side of South Korea. I hope that the next objective phase, they could really contest it here. Hazoop's taking a ton of damage and gets deleted.
Yeah, and Korea is starting to take massive amounts of control here. Germany might have... honestly, I thought too that they had it in the back, but they definitely played that bot lane approach a little bit too laissez-faire, and now they're getting punished for it. So
Dino.
We have another objective coming up. They know that Chen is at the top, so this is a 4 versus 4 that they can play. And it's Ulculus who's looking for kills, and he might get one. They go for Lockdown, who's still alive. Another Stormbolt and misses. Korea able to walk away, but had to use some of their ults already as is. And in only 10 seconds, Hazoop's is going to be back to business.
Good Scarlet Aegis from Hyde, denying the burst ability into that Mephisto. Lockdown stays alive for the time being. Objective phase is up and available. Mortar Punisher could be achieved to South Korea or Germany.
Also a problem at the top lane. There's a camp still pushing with catapults too. We're already 13 minutes in. It could scratch the core a little bit. So that might become problematic. But there's Chen. And now with Hazoop's back in the game, back in the fight, he's immediately connecting a spear and starting to push Murden back and drop him low in HP. Not good when you're the tank and you're trying to make the plays for the team.
Hazoop's tapping a camp here and there, keeping the Wrath of Berserker up and available. A very low Chen with the Panda Pals is able to back away Mech Explosion. Almost takes down White Mane!
Mephisto is dead. And by the way, this shield is falling.
Yeah,
as already called. The catapults have locked in, so it's not going to be too much damage, but there is at least some. And it's another objective for Germany, as it seems. Korea really fighting back and doing what they can.
Yeah.
But with Hazu reappearing in the fight, it just wasn't enough. And now it's half a level to 20 for the red team.
Nice double camp pressure in mid lane. 2 Impaler camps for the side of Germany, as we have the Mortar Punisher about to be won over. Like how Germany delayed that out a little bit, allowing Dino, Friends to grab more camps, pressure around the map. Huge wave in bottom lane, also with an Impaler, but Khaldor a fight maybe in mid?
Yeah, they're going for it again, but they could also just slow this down just a little bit. They're so close to level 20. If they push through the bot lane with the talent advantage, that would be big. And there they get it. So they have it here in the middle, and that gives more sustain to Sonya with her 20, and also the Farflight Quiver now for Vala, allowing Dino to stay even safer. He's at 59 stacks on his level 1.
Whoa.
That already is just dropping them. And of course, you look at Kerrigan, and she now has even more mobility. So yeah, it is pretty bonkers.
Mortar Punisher just annihilating this bottom lane keep. South Korea will lose their white main. Punisher jumps over as the stay a while and listen connects onto Mephisto. Multi-shot shredding through Chen. He tries to drink through the pain. He tries to stagger the pain, and he's out of here. Triple kill for the side of Germany.
The Germans, they're going for the win. 17 kills to 7 at this point, and this is going to be another 3-0 for Germany. 6-0 in the tournament, and the first team to move on to the winner bracket final.
Big congratulations to Germany. They earned this victory for certain. It was not an easy series. That map number 2, Battlefield of Eternity, that was hard fought.
And honestly, I think I have to rig the caster schedule a little bit, because I don't casted 2 games of Germany and they won both of them. Coincidence? I don't think so.
Yes, it is coincidence.
I don't think
so. It's happenstance.
I have to look at the schedule later.
Okay, all right. Well, hopefully I'll be on the schedule for tomorrow with all my great ideas that I've been giving with, Junkrat Rocket Ride. Oh, yeah.
You guys played that a lot against Deathwing for a while, right?
Not me specifically.
NA played that for a while. Rocket Ride against Deathwing over and over and over again.
Did they really?
NA has, NA,
I don't remember.
Deathwing can't move away from it, so it always hits. So NA always has some wild ideas, and well,
that sounds like a justing idea. It's just out in the weeds.
Yeah.
It's just
it's honestly not a forced segue, but guess what we have coming up next? I mean, outside of a short break and a bit of an interview, but we also have
pizza.
No.
Oh.
Food. But we have an A coming up.
Oh, we do.
Next series,
do have
exactly.
Our next best of 5 will be Sweden versus NA. That's going to be an absolute blast.
Probably the game of the day, honestly,
yes.
if you ask me. So yeah, that's going to be huge. But again, we'll be back later. The next series is Sweden against North America. So guys, stay tuned for more Nations Cup Heroes of the Storm here from the Experience in Berlin.